Hi, I'm Olivia F. Scott, Assistant Professor of Advertising at Loyola University, New Orleans, and the founder of Omerge Alliance's marketing consultancy. So, you know by now that I have been practicing in the marketing and advertising field for over 25 years, and I feel that this is the most incredible time for our industry. With all of the new media platforms, there is so much to stay on top of, and always more questions and answers as we navigate this new world of creativity. And today, we have a Loyola alum, Dorian Francis, here to speak to those who are truly, quite simply, born creators. In this edition of Behind the Ad, we're going to talk about limitless creativity, tapping into your passion to create the life that you want. Dorian Francis has served as a production manager of G-Shar LLC, a full service boutique firm with offices in New York and New Orleans, where they worked with clients such as the Essence Music Festival Empowerment Experience and the BET Fly Girl Vote Seminar. With degrees from both Delgado and Loyola, Dorian is an incomparable team leader and task oriented manager who has worked as a program director for NOSACON AM PM After School Program, a nonprofit organization that services inner city students in New Orleans at the Baptiste Cultural Arts Academy, Sarah T. Reed High School, and the L.B. Landry High School. And most recently, because there's no limit to his creativity, he has created his very own clothing line named The Love Label by Dorian Francis. How you doing today?
I'm awesome. I'm feeling amazing. This is so exciting. What's crazy is like I don't think I've done anything on a campus since I graduated. And I have been planning for the last year. I've been working on a piece of art
Okay.
that I want to display and premiere here first.
Let's talk about this. So you're
Okay.
a multifaceted creative entrepreneur, event professional, media executive, and so much more, right? You are a creator, the consummate creator. And what I find is a lot of young people, they're creative, but they don't know how to channel their creativity. So I thought you were perfect to come be our guest today. What inspires your creativity?
Life, pain, love, the elements. Growing up, I had a very, very different and dynamic imagination. I was a big fan of the Muppet Babies cartoon.
Okay.
And when I would watch this cartoon, the characters would go inside of the closet and they would travel the world. So in my mind, I figured I can do the same thing. So I would create all of these things out of nothing. Anything that I felt compelled to do, I would ask my grandmother, because my grandmother raised me I want to do it. I played drums, I played trumpet, I played trombone. She put me in art school. I auditioned for acting. I would see I remember watching the television, and they had this commercial for this art school, and you had to like draw a piece and send it in to audition to get enrolled. And I did it without her permission, and I got accepted into the art school. So those things always, the expression, like how I can, like, cause growing up, my father was in prison and my mom was on drugs. So a lot of people would tell me that I would end up going down that road. And in my mind, like, I had already imagined me being this super inspirational and special person. So when people didn't see that in me, I would channel all that through my imagination and my art. And that's what inspired. That's why all the elements inspired me, because all of those things became the product or the byproduct of what I create.
Fantastic. So talk about your passion. What's your passion now?
Oh man, my passion is to serve. Serve. I'm a Christian, and when I think about the concept of Jesus, he was the most special human being on this planet, and yet and still, he felt the need to serve the disciples and the people. So it goes back to the question: what would God do, or what would Christ do? And I felt like I was wired and manufactured to do the same. It's not about me. I was manufactured by God and given a specific resource, which is my passion, to serve and share with the people. And my ultimate goal is to make sure that I get it all out. So when I see him again, you're like, bro, you didn't bring anything back. It's like, no, I left it all there.
So that's what drives you
Absolutely.
as a creator, is living
Yep.
with your passion.
Yes.
Have you ever been limited? Has anybody ever told you, you should stop, you should just get a regular job and you should just work a
Absolutely.
9 to 5 and forget all that passion, creative stuff?
Yep. A couple times. Um like one of the first times that I can vaguely I remember at 20, a friend of mine approached me with an investment opportunity to invest into a special event. I worked at a hotel at the time and did washing dishes and catering and banquets, and it was like a really really low end job. And I didn't know how rich in resources that job was because I had older people pouring into me, the waiters, the waitresses, the chefs, all of those people just pouring into me. And they was really creating a producer. So when my homeboy approached me with the opportunity, and our first event was at the Hyatt Hotel, at the time I was working at the New Orleans Hilton Riverside. And when we went to do the walkthrough, I had already knew what to position things, what to place things, what to ask for, because I was a dishwasher and a food transporter at the Hilton Riverside. So people would be like, man, you have that low-end job making $6 an hour. But they didn't really know that was a paid internship. That ended up creating the producer in me and activating that. And then so I took tuition money, I took everything I had saved up and invested into that event. And we didn't profit. I woke up the next day, I had just purchased a house, had just purchased a brand new car prior to, and I'm like, what did I just do? And I went to someone because I took my tuition money, so I couldn't even get in school. So I went to someone that I supported before and asked them to loan me the money for school, and I would pay them back. And he was like, I will not. I can't see how you would waste your money on an adventure like that. And I was like, this is not an adventure. This is my business. And that was so discouraging, but yet encouraging, because what I did was I worked my job, I worked my business, and worked any and everything that I was able to that was positive or in line with what I wanted to do. And I made the money to re-enroll into school.
Speaking of school, Loyola.
Yes.
How did Loyola help you fuel your creativity?
Whoa, wow. Man, Loyola was so special to me in so many different ways. When I first made it here, I didn't want to be here. It was a culture shock. Growing up in my neighborhood, exposed to primarily African Americans, I had very little interaction with Caucasians, especially those of my age. Now, working at the hotel, I had a relationship with adults, but I had never been around my peers. I had never had Caucasian peers. So in the beginning, I was a little intimidated and afraid because I didn't know them, they didn't know me, so I just automatically went into defense mode. That became my protection barrier. So I would say, I don't want to be here, I want to be here. And then one day I was leaving a store in my neighborhood, and I had this grim look on my face. And the older gentleman like, hey, man, what's wrong with you? Like, why you have this grim look on your face? I was like, they want me to go to that school. And he was like, what school? And I was like, Loyola University. And he looked. He said, man, look around here. He was like, how many of the people that you're looking at you think have had that same opportunity? He said, from this point moving forward, you better cherish that opportunity, take full advantage of it, and make it work.
Period.
At this time, my dad was in prison and my mom was still on drugs. So I'm the first generation college student. So I didn't really have anybody to go and bounce ideas off of or talk. My grandmother did all she can, but that's all I had. So it was like I wrote my father a letter in jail like, hey man, I'm stuck at a crossroad. I don't know what to do. Like, what should I do? And he wrote me a letter back saying, just keep doing what you're doing. And I just felt so like, I'm reaching out to you and it's all you could give me. But I had to think, my dad went to prison at 17 when my mom was pregnant. I had all of the credits to graduate from high school his senior year and ended up going to prison. So I kind of was insensitive because I didn't consider how he may have felt wanting to give something to his son that he couldn't give him. So it all became just like a journey for me to not only take full advantage of this opportunity, but to make sure that I share this information with young people that may be going through the same thing that I experienced.
Speaking of young people, thank you for sharing that, right? So I want to touch upon the work you've done for NOSACON.
Okay.
What are some of the notable programs you've done? I've heard about this past the GEE. Tell us about that.
So that was a whole experience within itself. So a friend of mine, one of my mentors, was working with Nosa Khan, and he was like, "Man, they have this after school program. You know, I want you to apply for a position." At the time, I was a volunteer mentor in a juvenile prison. So he was like, "Man, you already doing work. Instead of doing interventions, you can start doing preventative things. Like let's work with the kids and try to prevent them, get inspire them before going to prison, so they don't have to go." After working with the one of the schools for a month as a teaching artist, the CEO came and was like, "Who is that guy?" He was like, "Oh, that's Dorian, one of the volunteers." They was like, his life oozes art. So they end up sending me to Sarah T. Reed High School in New Orleans East. And I had I had very little connection to the New Orleans East. I'm born uptown.
Right.
So most of my service have been uptown. And I'm like, well, a young person is a young person. Uptown, downtown, the east, send me there. So we started off just doing monologues, and one day our in-house producer is this recording artist in New Orleans and producer named S80. He produced a song called Halfway, which he ended up signing a major deal with Universal and doing a remix with Lil Wayne, and S80 was our in-house producer. So one of the students did something I didn't like, and I brought him outside of the class to reprimand him. And when I was outside, I could just hear the kids in the class tearing the classroom up. So I thought. So when I get back in the classroom, they beating on the desk and they just yelling all of this stuff. And I wanted to tell them stop, but the energy was just so incredible. So I was like, hey, say math and English. Say science and social studies. So they start saying different things. I love my teachers and I rock with education and all these different creative things. And I was like, that's it. We're going to take this and make this into a song. So S80, we asked him to go home that night and to create a music, a track, produce a music for the song. Came back, put the equipment in a closet, like 13 kids, all of us in a hot closet. And the two students that recorded it, one young lady named Treshawn, I forgot what Treshawn's last name was, who was one of my students that went on to Southern University to get her degree in communication, and Burnell Taylor, who's a R&B artist from New Orleans, who ended up going top 5 on American Idol.
Oh,
So
wow.
we had an opportunity to record a song with them called Pass That GEE, which was a bounce song promoting test taking. And the students put it on YouTube, and it went viral, generating over 90,000 views with no promotion. So this basically became a momentum builder that teachers across the city that I know of, I don't know if they did it in other parishes or other states, but I know I spoke with some of the teachers in the city that was like, oh, you did that? I used to play that before my kids would take the in the core test or whatever test they were taking. I went over there to change the kids' lives, and they changed my life. Every day I would learn something new. We cried together. We talked about suicide and just all type of things. We were really like a family. So then I start writing. So I was like, I'm gonna write a well, I think it was a skit called Pass That GE that was inspired by the song. So the more I would talk about it, the more I would be inspired to write more and more and more. And I took, I was in a play at my church. I took the script that the lady that was over the drama ministry wrote, and I kind of mirrored the format. Emailed it to her. Hey, listen, I want you to read the script. Let me know if you think this is something that has potential. And she read it, and she was like, I like it. So the next year, we at this point, the first year we only had music and drama. Next year we had music, drama, band, creative writing, art, photography, videography. So we have all of these components. So I'm like, wait, we have to take this and create some type of culminating thing. We had the kids to start reading the different characters, and the drama instructor and creative writer instructor got with the students and had them to write additional characters into it. And after we got to that, they was like, we don't need you no more. Just provide lunch, make sure we have everything we need, all the equipment, went into production. No experience, none whatsoever, and the students came together with the staff and they knocked it out.
Just letting passion really guide your
Absolutely.
life. All right, so our last question, congratulations on that
you.
accomplishment, and just really using your gifts and your passion to create room for you and blessing others in the process. Last question for you is, what is your secret sauce?
My secret sauce is my ability to connect with people.
Okay.
You know, I feel like I'm a love magnet, and that's why I named my clothing line the Love Label by Dorian Francis.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that's because, like, coming up, my grandmother, she was always stressing the importance of having God in my life. And I think love and God is one. God is love, and so it's the God in me, it's the love in me that draw people to me. So if I had to say that if there was something that I would call my special sauce, it's the way that people connect to me in love. Super special shout out to Loyola University.
Okay.
And so at the time I was attending Loyola University, everyone on this campus was instrumental in my growth. The custodians, the cafeteria workers, all of my professors. I had personal relationships across the board. If I was dealing with something personal at home, I can come talk to my professors. If I was, like, one day I came and I didn't have money to buy breakfast, and the lady in the cafeteria was like, it was cold one day, I just wanted a cinnamon bun and some cocoa, and she was like, young man, would you like some cocoa and a cinnamon bun? And I'm like, because I think I left my wallet at home or something, so I didn't have any money. So it's like, man, it's just so much more than just education that I received from this university. Like, I received an extended family, and to all of the staff, faculty, across the board at Loyola, I thank y'all, because a lot of my success and my accomplishments I owe to y'all. Y'all made a positive investment into me, and now I'm taking everything y'all invested into me, going back into the community and across the world.
Beautiful. Thank you for being with us today. So listen, young people, this was specifically for everybody who's a creator. I'm a creator. I've been a creator since I was a little girl, writing poems since 10 years old. And many people who are creators, we feel like we don't know what to do with it. Advertising is what I happen to do for a living and have done for a long time. But whatever it is that you have a desire to do, like Mr. Dorian Francis, whether it's writing a script, musician, art, education, media, he didn't really get into that, creating a television show, a high school musical, a t-shirt line. If you have limitless creativity, we invite you to lean into your creativity and watch your gifts make room for you. Of course, we'd love to see you here at Loyola University.
Absolutely.
In our advertising department, but definitely just know that there are so many different opportunities for you to add value to the world using your creativity and allowing for passion to be your guide.